What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about the others chart today. This is the total crypto market cap excluding the top 10 altcoins. Essentially, this is your altcoin chart. Whenever this goes up, you can imagine that the average coin in crypto goes up. When it goes down, the average coin in crypto goes down. When it consolidates, well, the average coin in crypto is consolidating. It doesn't mean that every coin's doing this, but most coins, I bet if you went and looked right now, most coins probably look just like this. They probably have a very similar look to this right now, right? And if not this exact move here, then at least this move here. But anyways, let's talk about this, guys. There's some exciting stuff going on in the charts, and I want to cut right to the chase. It does appear to me, right, if we drew a trend line at the tops of this right here, we just shaved it down, it appears to me like we're breaking out. We don't have a lot of significant volume, but I don't know how accurate the volume is on the others chart, you know, but we appear to be breaking out, and that's a really good thing. That's a very, not just good, but exciting thing for the rest of the altcoin market, because breaking out of this, what this appears to be at least, is a bull flag. And if this were to be a bull flag, if this pattern were to be true and held to its measure move from a low to a high, that would be the measure move right there. That would be good. Let's just see what where that would take us. You know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to go from the actual low here to the actual high there. We'll just do that. We'll put it at the breakout point, which would have been here. Oh, no. It would be from the low, not the breakout point. Depending on how you want to do it, you can put it from the breakout point. I like to do the low for bull flags because it's more conservative. But essentially, what that would mean is that from the current price, the average altcoin would see a 91% growth, right? And that's exciting. We all know, if you're in crypto, we all know and expect that our altcoins are going to grow. 91% is not that exciting in that aspect, right? We all know our coins on a minimum throughout the crypto space probably have anything from like a 13x to a 17, 20x left in the cycle, right? The average crypto coin does. There's plenty of coins that won't see that much growth. There's plenty of coins that will see that much growth or even more, right? But that's just the average. So talking about a 91% growth from here, while that is exciting, it's nice to get 91%, I feel like that's almost obvious. So let me tell you the things that aren't so obvious, right? Because again, why it's obvious is we all know if you're holding your crypto project, whatever coin it is that you're investing in, you've probably invested in it with the suspicion that it will grow more than 91%, I would assume, right? If you're buying a crypto that will grow 91% or less, why aren't you invested in Bitcoin then? Like, why are you holding that instead of Bitcoin? Bitcoin's going to grow more than 91%, you know what I mean? So whenever I say it's not surprising, that's all I mean. What is surprising are the things that you might not necessarily expect, is that a break of this trend, a break of this pattern here on this others chart would indicate that we are beginning this move now. Now, today, right now, on the 2nd of January, to start off this new year, right now. However, I want to say something with that, okay? With a breakout, sometimes, especially with diagonal lines like this, sometimes we get a little pullback, and it'll seem as though you've broken out and then you're breaking back into the range, but really because this line keeps going down, you're not breaking back into the range. Yes, a pullback would break you back into this range overall as a whole, but what you're doing is you're back testing this diagonal line, so you go lower, you find support at other areas of support that you've had before. We might see essentially what this is calling for, maybe, is one of two things. If this is a breakout move, well, we can just break out and go forward, or if it's a breakout move, we could back test and then go forward. Either way, in an extraordinarily short amount of time, you guys, the average altcoin would likely pump 90% or more from here, right? And I would expect this move to take place and take full effect. We would see the average altcoin in the crypto space see a 90% gain from their current prices. You could look at any coin and just project out 90% or more, or maybe even just a little bit less, something around there, though. That's the average. Between now and the end of January, I think that's when it's going to happen. I do believe we have more to grow, but my theory is too, just looking at the others chart here, I think this move was nice. It was in fair fashion. I think the move that takes us away from here, it's going to be faster. I think it's going to be stronger. I do suspect that right now we are going to see a stronger move across the boards, and I have a reason for that, and I want to finish with that reasoning. Okay, so if we look at this chart, we go on a monthly basis. First off, I want to start back at the daily basis, actually. If we're going to break out of this, okay, if this were to be a true bull flag, right, the measure move would take us all the way, at a minimum, at least, all the way up here, okay? So let's just put a line, right there, okay? I can delete all the other stuff, and then we'll zoom out. Line is right there. It would take us at least right there. And this is what's exciting, right? Because by the end of January, we'll be here. But there's more exciting stuff than just that, okay? And this is why I also, what I'm about to say is why I expect this move to be more robust than this move. What I mean by robust, I mean faster. I mean stronger. And potentially even bigger. It could be bigger, right? That's the measure move is 91%, but man, it could be bigger. It could, maybe it's there by the end of January, consolidates, and then boom, we're off to the races even faster and stronger on the next one. But the reason why I suspect this coming move, the move that we are, I think, beginning as of right now, as of yesterday, we're beginning it, will be stronger than this move that brought us into it, is because of this white line up here, right? That's your measure move. That's it right there. It's because of that white line. If we zoom out and we look at that white line, I've deleted everything else, and I've gotten very specific for this exact reason here, right? If that's your measure move from breaking out here, the reason I suspect that it'll be more robust than the move that brought you into it is because here's your all-time highs for the others chart, which means that if you're looking at any given crypto, the average crypto is probably not at new all-time highs. If it's a coin that just came out this bull cycle, okay, probably they're at new all-time highs. But if it's a coin that's been around for at least one bull cycle before this, or the beginning of the bear cycle, the end of the bull cycle, likely they're not at new all-time highs yet. This next move, if it's robust, like I think it's going to be, or if it's not as robust, maybe it's the exact same pace, however you want to look at it, it will, the measure move is here, right? That's what that white line is. The second white line that's down here on the bottom, that's just where the all-time high is, right? That's where that is. This is your measure move. Remember, that's your measure move of this bull flag. If you're going to hit this measure move, and we're expecting it to be by the end of January, if not higher, right? Even if it was March, whatever, who cares, right? You're going to be breaking this line. And 90% is all the way up here. To your all-time highs, you're only 36%, not even halfway to 90%, not even halfway to your measure move. You're going to be breaking above your all-time highs. I would guess that when you break above your all-time highs, you're going to see a very, what they call like a price discovery breakout, a blue sky breakout, right? Where it's phenomenal. It's literally like one of the more powerful things that you'll see. Let's see if we can actually go back in time and find an example of that. Okay, so here was your all-time high in 2018. You go here, and you were moving up. You kind of had a nice slow move up to it, right? And then 2 weeks going into it, I would argue that here you moved up, and then you had a sideways upward sloping consolidation phase here, and then you broke out of it, and you saw that move here until you consolidated up here, right? So like this was one move here, and this move here was absolutely at a faster pace than this move was here. Absolutely, it was at a faster pace. And even the move preceding it, but before you broke the line, what brought you up to that area was pretty fast. You consolidated here for 3 weeks, but once you broke out of that line, look at how much faster those preceding weeks were after it, right? Pretty big right here, especially this week right here. That was a pretty big week, but really you just kind of consolidated, and once you broke that line, you took off, man. You took off at a very fast pace, okay? Leading up to the line, after the line. You can just look at it very simply, right? Like just the difference of the pace, okay? That's all I'm saying here. Leading up to the line, after the line. I'm assuming that this next move will be phenomenal. So I think I made my point. I got nothing else to say. The main gist of it is look at what any altcoin did between the months of November, the beginning of November, actually, sorry, just from the beginning of November to the end of December. Look at the move they did and suspect from the current price a 90% or more move to happen, and suspect that it takes less time to achieve, right? It probably doesn't stop there. We probably do have more to go afterwards, but that's the whole point of this video. The real thing, again, just to surmise it all in one kind of sentence here, is that I'm excited that it looks like we're breaking out of this pattern, right? Generally with patterns, with any kind of pattern or consolidation phase, which if you want to call it a bull flag, if you want to call it a broadening wedge, whatever you want to call it, whatever, you can call it a triangle or I don't even know what else you would call this thing, but whatever you want to call it. When you come to the end of any kind of consolidation, your volume normally dies off, and you pick a side. You break out or you break down. And when you break out, when you're actually breaking out, your volume should come back. So if we continue to move higher across the board, and volume comes in, that's how we know it's the real deal. If we continue to move higher just a little bit and there's no volume that comes in, and then we sell off and volume comes in, that's how we know, well, maybe this is a fake out and we're actually going lower. But either way, whether we go lower from here and we see a lower low relative to this, or we go higher from here and we're breaking out, either way, we're still going to go higher, and we will still probably see new all-time highs across the boards for every single crypto likely by the end of this month, if not the very beginning of January or of February. I do suspect, and I want to actually end the video on this note, I do suspect that February and January will both be green months. I do suspect volatility in these months. I suspect that by the end of January, we find a relative high, and then sometime in the beginning of February, I would think that we find a relative low, and it might be anywhere from like a 20 to a 40% drop across the board that this happens. It could even be a bigger drop than that, but I still do suspect January and February both to be green months, and the primary reason for that, and I'll just make it quick, is if we look at the prior bull cycle here in 2017, 2 prior bull cycles, we take this month, and we go to the last year of price action. Okay, so the last 12 months here, 12 months there, you can see that in this last 12 months, there were only 3 red months, 3. 2 of them were actually pretty neutral, not even 5% down on a closing basis. This one was your only real red month, but all the rest were green. 2 of them were red. Okay, 2 of them were red. Next bull cycle. This was the top, but I think this was the end of the cycle personally. That's what I and a lot of other people kind of agree on. But who cares, right? Whether it's that's the top or that's the top, however you want to look at it, right? 12 months out here, 1, 2 red months. Only 2. Only 2 red months that time, and they were both definitely red, a little bit larger than 5% there, obviously. If you want to go all the way back, or if you want to take it from this high, okay, 1, 2 red months there too, but this time they're together, right? So all I'm trying to say, and just statistically probably, I think this would be the better one to take into consideration. You're not likely to get 2 red months back to back in a row, right? Especially whenever you have an actual red month. If they're neutral, okay, maybe you get a little bit of that back to back, and this one, to be fair, is actually kind of neutral, so maybe we could get it back to back, but I'm suspecting more likely that we do not just see 1 green month, right, but we see multiple green months in a row from here. I'm suspecting that we are probably in the last 12 months of the bull cycle. I think it started with this month here, so you project 12 months out from there. We've had 1 red month already. Statistically speaking, we'll either have 2 or 3, just based off of the 2 prior bull cycles that we've got, right? 2 or 3. And Bitcoin's the same way. My suspicion is that while yes, I think we have a momentary high in January and we pull back in February and we find a low, I think February still closes green. I think January closes green, and potentially even March, man. We've got good times, green times, high times ahead of us all year. And it starts here, man. It starts right here with this little break. I'm very excited. I think everybody should be excited. That daily RSI is looking killer, looking very good. It was looking sad for a second, but man, you found support at the 40. Beautiful. 3-day RSI looks really good, and the weekly RSI is killer as well. Being back above the 60 is great. If we can close this week above the 60 like this, and we only have 3 days and 20 hours left, we're about halfway through the week, and not quite halfway through the week, but we're getting there. If we could close the week here or higher, if the week can continue to grow, that would look really good. If we turn around, if by the time I'm making this video tomorrow and this week is red or we're moving down, we might have a different story, right? We're in a bit of a critical zone, so don't mind me if I flip-flop between now and the next 48 hours. But I have the suspicion this will be my last time flopping. I think that we will. I think that we are going to move up higher. So that's all I got, my friends. Hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one, and bye-bye. I said bye.